in the last weeks was very inspiring. We have seen a lot of rank ups popping, a lot of people that also made money with the Zinra IDs. Today we had who took the ID from today from Nina Santiago. Drop a 222 in the chat box if you took the ID, if you made some money on it. Um, we also have a very nice announcement also later tonight that will be dropped also in the chats. So yeah, we actually tonight have a very special guest speaker, and this individual, I got the honor to meet him. I think it was like 2 years ago or 1 year and a half ago. This gentleman is from the UK. He's been in the industry of network marketing for quite a few years, and he's always been very inspiring because the first time I met him, he's like one of the most humble persons that you will ever meet. He's a person, a man of God also. But when you think about the industry of network marketing, I truly am inspired by Mr. Dan because he's building it the way it should be built. A lot of people build this with hype and with, come and join my team and we joined from this company to this company. But what I like about Dan and the team and the organization that he has built in the last years actually is that he actually put the products first and he's building his organization, his community through the products. And that's why he has one of the best retentions inside the whole company, right? His team is like a solid rock. He actually hit Crown 15. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. So let's celebrate already in the chat box for Mr. Dan Jukes. I'm very excited for having you on the call, brother. Last time you spoke for us was amazing. I still remember the training, and a lot of people were like blown away from the training you gave us. And I think it was a few months ago. So I'm very excited actually for what you're going to bring today. I see that you're on the call. I'm going to make you a co-host. So let's make sure to show some love, show some energy, drop some excitement. If you're excited for the one and only Mr. Dan Jukes to give a fire training again today. So if you can hear us, brother, I made you a co-host and you should be able to speak also.
Amazing. Thank you. Can you hear you good? You can see and hear me?
Yes, amazing.
Okay, there we go. I can see myself. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the invite, Anthony, and thank you all for tuning in. Um, it's been an interesting few weeks or months for me. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the past. Let's talk about the future. But I just want to show some love and gratitude for you guys because you really inspired us in the UK, to be honest, because um, network marketing is a very interesting industry, and we can talk a little bit about it. But you have to have a mix. It's about finding the balance if you want to build a strong organization. Because if you want to build a business that lasts, you have to have customers. It's very really obvious that if you want to have a successful company, you have to have customers. If you don't have customers, then you won't have a business. But you also need to find the energy and the spark and the somewhat hype to attract new customers in an industry which we're essentially, I like to say, we're saving souls. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute because we're saving people from a system that absolutely hates them, is seeking and destroying them. And we're trying to bring them into a different universe completely. So there has to be some kind of spark or hype or energy. But really the power is building the bridge between those two things. And understanding that if you want to build a really strong organization, then you have to sacrifice a faster building team, if that makes sense. Now, I know that everybody on here is here slightly different reasons. Maybe some of you are here to trade, some of you are here to invest, some of you just want to build, some of you want to do both. And I'm here to tell you that there's no right or wrong. And you should never have an attitude towards another. So you should never have the attitude of oh, they just want to build network marketing. I want to trade, so I don't fit with them. Now that doesn't make any sense, and vice versa. Let me explain why. I'll share a little bit about my story, but I don't want to share too much because this is about you guys. And also, I can talk for England, literally, right? So I know you guys are very disciplined with your timings, which is another thing that I love, and another thing that you guys inspired me. Anthony, Jurgen, and Jens. I'm sure there's about 50 yens in the team. But you guys really inspired us because you showed us the power of like unified energy and bringing real excitement. Sometimes too much theory can just be too much theory. So like you have to have those physical inspiring moments. So, we want to extend a thank you to you guys. Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride for me, and it's been a very interesting few weeks. And I love network marketing for so many reasons. But one of the main things I love to trade. We had a good day today. Of course, we're going to keep it compliant, but we had a great day trading. But don't get it twisted. Like network marketing for me is like the greatest industry in the world for a few different reasons. One of the things I love about network marketing is the ability to connect with people. When you speak to people, you can become a very well-rounded person, a business owner, like an entrepreneur, sorry. You can become a better friend because, you know, good friends have understanding and you can understand how people work and think and operate, what turns people on, what turns people off of opportunities of life. It's such a liberating like experience that you should feel really excited about the idea of meeting people. One of the things you get to do is you get to see consistencies. And I want to share some of the consistencies that I see with people today. The first one is that people love the idea of doing something more than doing it. Have you guys noticed that? Like we had a brand new company. Everybody says, oh man, I wish I was at the beginning of this. I wish, I wish, I wish. And people love the idea of wishing because as long as they're wishing, they don't have to do anything. And that manifestation and that thrill of thinking, oh, that feels so good. The feeling of thinking is much better than the feeling of doing. It's like the gym. The idea of going to the gym and getting absolutely shredded and looking good on holiday is much better than actually going to do it, I can assure you. And so when people were offered a free position to be at the beginning of a brand new company launch, everyone said, yo, give me the link and make sure I'm above this person, that person, because I want this and I want that. But when it came to execution time, people go missing. And that's a lot like life, right? Like that's just like life. If you want to be a good trader, you need to learn how to take position. But then when it's time to execute, you have to execute. And I've been saying to my group recently, there's a few myths around there. One of the biggest myths, guys, have you ever heard, use the chat box so I know you guys aren't asleep, right? Have you ever heard the saying, the hardest part is getting started? Let me speak proper because I'm speaking a bit UK. Have you guys ever heard that? The hardest part is getting started. How many of you have ever heard that? Yeah, a couple? Surely a few more of you have seen, all right? How many do you guys agree with that, or do you just like everybody else, you just go along with it because it sounds good and you press like on an Instagram story? I think that's like the biggest BS. I wish the hardest part was getting started. I wish the hardest part is doing the hard bits every single day. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is to keep going and doing it every single day over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like that's really the hardest part. And so I wish the hardest part was getting started, but it's just not the truth. When I joined network marketing in 9 years ago, I was 22 years old. I was broken. I was getting everything I deserved from life, which was absolutely nothing because of my poor attitude, my poor habits, and the people I surrounded myself. I made those decisions. And guys, you want the easiest philosophy of life, two philosophies that you'll never forget, and you'll always be super present with it, and it might help you to make better decisions in your life. Life is a very simple game of decisions and consequences. You make a decision, and there's a consequence. If I drink this water, I get hydrated. If I don't drink the water, I get dehydrated. If I go to the gym, I get stronger. If I don't go to the gym, I get weaker. If I build a business, I make money. If I don't do the business, I don't make money. If I take the trades, I make money. Like life is such a simple game. If I put the right foot in front of the left, I move forward. If I don't, I don't. Like life is so simple, but we're so conditioned by society and all the other things that are going on in our lives and all the distractions, which distraction is the devil, distraction is the Achilles heel of most people's dreams. But life is very simple. You either do it or you don't. I've got another analogy for you because there's no point in making life any more difficult and confusing than it already is. Life is very much like a game of snakes and ladders. Are you guys aware? You must have snakes and ladders, right? Obviously, it's not called snakes and ladders, but it's a very simple game where you roll the dice, you hit a ladder, you move up. You roll the dice, you hit a snake, you come back down. This is very much the game of life. The goal is to keep on rolling the dice. You take your trades, you win some trades, you lose some trades. The goal is to keep on moving, to keep on taking trades, to stay in the game, to keep moving, to keep moving, to keep moving. You guys with me? And when I saw the opportunity of network marketing, I remember just saying one thing: I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And the thing with me is because you should be asking yourself, isn't it fascinating the millions and millions of people that start trading, that invest in cryptocurrency, that start network marketing but don't make it when it's so abundant? How can one person make so much money in one industry, but then so many people fail so miserably? That's got to be a question that you ask yourself once in a while. Like at least one, like I've got friends. I was actually away on a stag do, one of my friends getting married, and they all still don't have a clue what I'm doing. They're all still behind on all their rent and bills and stuff, but they never stop to ask themselves why, which is just so interesting to me. Like, how come somebody is, and guys, you want my answer again? It's not that really that difficult. Is that you just need enough reasons. You need enough reasons to do well. That's what Jim Rohn said all them years ago. It's not difficult. Guys, when I started, I was the most unqualified person there is. For the first 18 months in network marketing, I didn't make a penny, but I knew that I found something that I fell in love with. I have a formula for finding to live in a fulfilled life. I'm not really one of these like formula type people, but it's something that I came up with. You need to find something you love, find something you're good at, and find a unique opportunity. Why is network marketing such a great opportunity for me? Is because I love to help people. I found it early on in my years. I was very compassionate, and I found a way to be in other people's position. Metaphoric, like I'm good at understanding people's position, and I found an opportunity like network marketing. We can do that. We can really transform lives. Like we really, really can. And I believe that from day one. But I realized that I'm not going to help. I'm not going to help poor people by being one of them. So I had to figure out enough reasons for doing it. So you better believe, guys, that I had a list as long as you can imagine. I had this thing called Magic Whiteboard, which I've actually got right in front of me, which is like, if you haven't seen it, it's like static paper which sticks to the wall. It's like plastic. And I would just write reason after reason after reason after reason why I wanted to do well. Remember, at this point, like I'm still 22, I'm going out every single weekend, I'm getting drunk, getting high, like doing all this crazy stuff. No one really respects me in business. Everyone just likes me as long as I'm out making a fool of myself. No real purpose to my life. But I just started writing down reasons for why I wanted to do it. And the reasons were as far as things that happened in my past, a future that I'm inspired by, to make some people proud, to prove some people wrong, for money, for this, for that, as many reasons as I could think of, because I had to reprogram my whole life. You need to understand that, like, when you start this business, what gives you the right to think that you can step into $1 trillion day markets and start like throwing your weight around and think that you know everything? Like you're crazy. You have to take your time. Like you really have to engage, learn, grow, develop. And my journey was very much like that. And I'll tell you, one of the turning points in my career was that about 18 months in, I was obsessed with building a team. I loved the idea of having a team. I just loved it. I just thought, man, how cool would it be if for once in my life I felt like I was inspiring other people, because I felt pretty useless, to be honest with you. I was playing football and I was pretty much just like footballers are just well-paid actors at the end of the day. So I was kind of just like being pushed around from club to club, agents trying to sign me. No one was really interested in my career. They were just interested in how much I could make them. And when I was no good, they just threw me to the side. And I was sick and tired of being treated like that in my life by people, by past relationships, by friends. My friends didn't care about me unless I was out making a fool of myself. They didn't care about how I was feeling internally and how I was stuck and frustrated. All they wanted to do is see me on a Friday drinking beer with them and being miserable. And that was enough for them. And when I decided to change my life, they called me selfish. But you know what selfish really is expecting somebody else to live the way that you want. So if you ever feel selfish for going after your dreams, I think you've got that definition completely wrong, because selfish is expecting other people to live the way that you want. My friends didn't like it when I started to become and pursue my goals, because they lost the benefits they had of me, which is being the class clown and wasting all my money on their drinks and sitting in their They say misery loves company, right? I saw a quote today and I've seen it about 5, 6 times. They say the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats. It's always the way. It's always the way, right? And so once I pushed past that, I actually started to build an organization and, I started to get really excited. I built a team of 100 people, I remember. And then, network marketing, I was just naive. I just thought this is amazing. We go out there, we market products, we sell, we make business, we go and do meetings, we have fun, we make money. And then I was faced with my first ever challenge. And this will all make sense as we go on about why I am the way I am, why I believe that this industry should be done in a certain way. I'm not saying I'm right, just saying it works. Is that I built an organization of 100 people, and one day I woke up and my team had disappeared. And I was thinking, where's everybody gone? And then I got a phone call from, my upline, right? Or like my mentor or whatever you're supposed to call them. He said, Dan, we've joined this new company. I said, what do you mean we? Like, what are you talking about? We? Like, he said, oh, well, I did this, I did this. And I was so disappointed, like I was so upset because I realized how weak my leadership was. I didn't really understand what I was doing. I was just doing as I was told, and I was led astray by certain people. But here's the thing, guys. I felt very disheartened in this industry before, but I've never lost the magic for it because I still believe that the magic in this industry is very much alive. And so I said to myself, this is 18 months in, that I'm never, ever, ever going to let somebody else dictate and control the way that my organization, the way that my business is built, ever. He used to say to me things like this. This is crazy. Tell people what they want to hear, tell them what they want, and you can sell them what you want. I thought to myself, I thought that was great at first because I was young and naive. How many of you guys have thought someone was really great and then like realized they're not that great? And it's really like it's heavy on the heart. So I said, let's not do this on what people want because first of all, the world has no idea what they want, and also people's wants and desires change like the weather. So I came up with this philosophy. If you tell people what they want to hear and sell them what they want, you can make them a sale. But if you provide what they need, you can save them. And I'll never forget thinking that I can really like save people, not from the fact that they're going down the gutter of a degenerate society where let's not even go down that path, but also being led astray in unique opportunities by the wrong people. So I'm going to fast track forwards and then we can get into some mindset stuff and also talk a bit about trading and investing, which I think is so important. Our role here is that in the following 3 years, I built an organization of nearly 6,000 and it was amazing. I was never, I can honestly speak, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people. I've never really been interested in what other people are doing, to be honest with you, like in terms of like, let them affect me. I've never really been, I mean, I used to go to events and I'd be there for like, I'd been in the company for 18 months. I didn't have a single customer other than like people that I forced to sign up or paid for them to sign up. So I was actually running, it's pretty hard to run a network marketing business at a negative, but I was breaking records both sides. And I just remember going to events thinking, how is this person getting these results? And I've been here for 18 months and they've only been here for one day, but never for a second did it dishearten me. I used to celebrate them. I used to clap for them. I used to say, well, like my time is coming. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's impossible for me not to make it because we're doing the right things for the right reasons and time's going to do its thing. And so that led me to building like a huge organization. And then I came to this company. I won't go into the story, but I'd probably still be that first company because I'm very much like go down with the ship kind of guy. But we had this thing called Brexit, which was a massive scam, but let's move on. And we couldn't get any products. So we came to this company and same spiel. I was sold into the company or the idea of people can make money trading. I'd never traded before. Is this anybody's first company or first experience trading, in this or the last company? Let me just ask you a funny question, right? How different was the expectation set out to you than the experience? Meaning, did you get sold a dream? Let's just say it like that. Because I got sold a big, wide open, I got sold a big, big dream. Come in, bro, just jump on these classes and you'll get rich. I thought, yo, it's a wrap. Let's do it. And again, guys, like one thing I refuse to do is let somebody else's decision dictate and pass off responsibility. Because when people fail at something or when they quit, they'll often start with, oh, but this happened to me, this person. Now I say to my group, I could have easily turned around, guys. I don't think I put like 300 people into the business in the first week, and all of a sudden everyone's losing money. And I could have said, you know what, guys, like I got sold into this opportunity. I didn't know what I was doing, da 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 da. And everybody would have probably said, yeah, Dan, look, we know, we trust you. But I didn't. I took full accountability. You wouldn't believe some of the things that I did. It was absolutely ridiculous when I think back. I was literally paying people back the money they were losing trading because I just felt so bad. Like it was the most ridiculous thing ever. Like I was literally refunding people's membership and asking, how much did you lose trading? And literally refunding their money trading. It was the most insane thing ever because I wasn't prepared to let somebody else's decision, pass off blame for my decisions. Okay. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And this is where we're going to get into it. We've got 15 minutes left, I believe, right? If that's fine, Anthony. Here's the thing, guys. You can sell people a want and they'll buy. But they have what they need, you can save them. We have what they need. I looked at the platform, I knew it. I knew this is what people needed. Education, to be a part of something, to be around great people, to have personal development, to have an experience. And guys, if you think that you can learn for cheaper somewhere else, I was going to say something rude. It's not happening. It's not happening. Okay. But most people, they don't understand the opportunity that they're in. So let's talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about it because it's really important. Guys, when my first point of this call was about building an actual business. And a lot of people said to us in the UK, our team stayed strong and we all stayed together because people trade. That's what people said, right? Which is true. But they said people stayed because they trade and make money trading, which is not true. This is really important. Let me know if you guys are with me because you need to understand this if you want to build an actual business from this. Because if you just want to trade, you have to strap in for 3 to 5 years. That's like 3 to 5 years is what it's going to take to be a very successful trader and investor. Is anybody with me? Just say yes or one or whatever, so I know you're there. Because if you want to build an actual business and you want to make actual, like real money, like good money consistently, and learn skills that will never leave you, so that no matter what happens to your customers, to your educators or whatever, that you can be okay. You need to really understand this, okay? Because people said that our business stayed strong because people trade and they make money trading. Wrong. That's wrong. People stayed because we teach people how to trade and invest. And to be a successful or a progressive trader or investor, you have to think differently. You have to think differently. In 30 minutes time, guys, we have something called an investors hub where we're actually going to teach people how to invest. We're all going to start an investor portfolio on stocks together, and you are all welcome if that's okay if I'm not intruding. Okay. But listen, why do you need to learn how to trade? Because you need to learn how to think. You need to learn how to observe the masses and do the opposite. When you're learning how to trade properly, you're learning how to disregard all the common thoughts in your mind, which is, I want it now. I want to be rich quick. Duh, 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 duh. So it's the process. If you want to build a strong organization of entrepreneurs, because guys, let me just tell you the truth. Most network marketers are not entrepreneurs. They're not business owners. They're just people in an opportunity, hoping they're in the right place at the right time. They're not real entrepreneurs, most of them. The people that you're blessed to be with, Anthony, Jurgen, I'm not going to go through all the names. These people are real entrepreneurs because they survived the test of times. These guys did not, they were prepared to go 5, 7, 10 weeks without being paid. That's tough. Like that's really hard. I know it because I was there too, right? But because they think like an entrepreneur, they think ahead. Is this making sense to you? Because if you're going to be a successful trader, you have to wait for the opportunities to come to you. I'll never forget being in, I'm pretty sure I'm speaking to most people that will understand about our last opportunity and stuff. I remember thinking to myself, there's one option, and I don't think that's an option. But I'm sure if we just hold tight, something's going to come, something's going to happen. And it did. And this is the difference between the way people think. This is the difference between successful people and not successful people. Like you, as an investor, as a trader, you spend 90% of your time waiting, 10% of the time executing if you want to be successful. As an entrepreneur, as an investor, like I said, you wait for opportunities and then you go for it. Once you find it. Remember I said, look, there's a great formula for finding opportunity. Find what you love, find what you're good at, and match it to an opportunity. Not sell your soul to the highest bidder, which is what this ridiculous industry has become. I've never been ashamed of being platinum 2000, sorry, earning 2000 per month for 3 years, knowing that I've made 35 plus in the past. I was okay to sit and wait because I knew that my time was coming because I knew we were building it correctly. So I was never afraid of like not having the biggest team, not having the most numbers. I didn't really care. I was so focused on becoming the best that I can be. And then, one of the best things you can do is just be like the last man standing. It's just like be here when no one else is here. Because when I went to my first event, I remember one of the top earners. I was at the back of the room, and he came beside me, and his name was, I want to say, well, yeah, his name is Holton. And he said to me, it was really weird because I didn't know him at the time, and he obviously didn't know me, and he just like stood next to me, and he basically said, do you want to know something funny? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And he said, if you cut this room in half and then in half again, in 6 months' time, only this part will still be in the opportunity. And in the next 6 months, you cut that in half and that in half. And he said that over and over again. And he said it's just a game of it's sometimes it's just about staying in the game. I think to myself, okay, cool. Well, I can do that. I can do that, no problem. Like, I'll hang in there. I'll stay in the game. I'll keep showing up and keep doing it. And thank God I did, like thank God I did. And now I've realized that it's such a winning formula to just stay the course and just keep doing the right things over and over and over and over again. Okay. Because sometimes the aim of the game is to stay in the game. Like sometimes that is just how it is, like life, business. How many of you guys have had seasons in your life where it's like, I just need to keep my head above water right now? Like family stuff's going on, like crazy things can happen in your life, and it doesn't matter what rank you are. Like, please do not fall for this. I'm very grateful to be, at Crown 15, very grateful, very honored, but it doesn't mean anything really, does it? What really matters is like, what's the consequence of me being here? Like, who gains from this? Like, what's the actual real reason and the real purpose? And for the final 10 minutes, guys, I just want to share something like open hearted. It's very simple. I know what I'm here to do. And when you know what you're here to do, you will not fall for what other people want you to do. Do you want to say that? Like, write that down? Because when you understand what you're here to do, you will not fall for what people want you to do. Because have you noticed 9 times out of 10 in life, whenever people come to you with an open hand, they have another one behind their back. And so, one thing I'll tell you my passion is to free people from the prison of their own mind. Because once we free people from the prison of their own mind, opens an abundant way of thinking, and money becomes effortless. Effortless. Do you know why people make a lot of money in my organization? Because they're not afraid of money. They're not afraid of money. I don't have to sell people on the idea of making money, and neither do you. Can I just say one thing? You do not need to overhype the fact that we can make money pressing buttons on our phone. Don't you think that's amazing enough? How you don't need to decorate that anymore. Now, how much that is, that doesn't matter. Like people are obsessed. I want 100 grand account. Why? You don't need 100 grand account. You probably need like 5, 6 thousand. Make your 2, 3%, and you'll be amazed at what can happen. But we don't need to oversell people on the fact that you can have a business that pays you every single week, and you don't need to do the accounting, no physical office, no recruiting, but not employing, sorry. Everything is done for you. Like sometimes it feels a little bit illegal pressing buttons and making money. Like we don't need to overhype this. We need to understand one thing. What are we really here to do? That you have to ask yourself that, like, what am I really here to do? Because you will find yourselves in phases in this industry, and I need you to write a few. I mean, if you're not writing things down, it's entirely up to you. It's a wasted time being here if you're not going to apply it, but that's what most people do. The most, the most paralyzing state. In fact, let me ask you a question. I'm making sure I'm on time. Let me ask you a question. What would you suggest? What would you tell me is the most paralyzing state to be in? Paralyzing means like stuck, like stopped. Like what do you guys so scared or like fear, right? Let me know. I'm just curious because this could really help you. Comfortable, paralyzing, right? Paralyzing is like you just can't move because fear, most people are driven. They're driven by, they're moved away from fear or towards pleasure. So fear can actually move you. Guys, the most paralyzing state is frustration. Frustration. And you're in an industry which breeds frustration because you're trying to trade, and there's nothing more frustrating than when trading isn't going your way. And there's nothing more frustrating than when your business isn't going and you find yourself there all day, like, right, I want to do it, but I don't know what to do. Okay. The most paralyzing state is frustration. And I gave you the kind of an answer to this before. Most people, or yeah, pretty much everyone, is moved by moving away from pain or towards pleasure. So I said to you right from the beginning, you need to have enough reasons. You can't be frustrated if you know why you're here and you have enough reasons to do it. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Because you're either moved away from pain or towards pleasure, meaning that you have a pleasurable place in your mind. You have a pleasurable goal and a dream that's so fascinating and so exciting that you're inspired to do it, or you're driven away from a painful place, from somewhere you never want to go again, that you just so afraid of going backwards that you go forwards. Because here's the thing, guys, you have to change. My final point is you have to change. And you're going to change for two reasons. You get massively inspired to change, like so inspired. Inspire means to breathe when you need to do it as much as you need to breathe. Like you are so inspired, which is very difficult to do, especially on a Zoom. I hope I'm inspiring you guys, but maybe, I don't know. That's why events are so important. That's why being around the right people are so important. That's why exercising is so important. Exercising is so important. You need to stimulate your mind. You need to get inspired to do something. Or what do you think the other thing is? You're going to be moved by inspiration or desperation. Life will move you. You will never stay the same forever. So you have two reasons, two opportunities, right? Number one, you can get super inspired by your goals and dreams. You can have enough reasons to do well. You can do whatever to move and go after what you want. Or you can wait. It's like a relationship. Guys, come on. We've all been in a relationship we know we shouldn't have been in. You either move because you know it's the right thing to do, or you wait until it gets so toxic, like so toxic that it happens anyway, right? When you see a success story, how many times do they say, I was broke, I was down, I was in prison, I almost died, and then I changed. I lost 100 pounds because I went to the doctors and they felt my heart and da da da, and they said, you're going to die in 6 months if you don't change. It would have been easier if 50 pounds ago you just got inspired to do it, right? Like that would have been easier. But it's human nature. We love to settle. Like we're the only species, we're the only thing in the world that doesn't just grow naturally to our full potential. And we are truly at our best when we're moving towards something. So, guys, for the last few minutes as I sign out, I just want to let you guys know that this is your destiny. Like this is what I love about network marketing. I don't care how many flipping YouTube videos and skeptics and whatever out there. I literally don't care what anyone thinks about anything because I know who I am and I know what I'm here to do. We're here to break people from the prison of their own mind, to save them from a society which is choking them, to teach them skill sets that can truly free them, sell them, not to sell them what they want, but to offer what they need, which is education, loving friendships, an environment that forces them to grow, to expand, to move to new levels, to travel, to see the world, to experience the feeling of growing, because there's no feeling quite like getting better every single day. And if you guys agree, I encourage you to set your alarm an hour early right now for tomorrow. And when you wake up, feel feel life, feel the gift of life every single day. Feel the gift of life every single day. It's not always easy, and I'm not saying that I wake up, boom, ping out of bed, right? But I'm very, very grateful for the gift of life because we're not here forever. Okay. So on that note, guys, I love you so much. I appreciate you all. I pray that everything you guys desire comes to fruition, but it's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen by design. So I'm grateful to be partnered with you guys in this amazing company in this new chapter. Who knows what the future holds, but we are the creators. So I'm excited to do this with you. All right. God bless, guys. I'll see you on the other side.
Amen, brother. Amen. What a amazing, amazing training. Drop some fuego in the chat. I mean, this was always when we ask Dan Jukes, he's always bringing the fire, always bringing the value. And this is a man that's been through the process. And that's truly you can tell it when he's speaking. He speaks from experience. He speaks from being through the process and actually experienced it, and this is why it's so valuable to be on these trainings. You're an inspiration for us, Dan. You're doing very, very well with network marketing. You're doing very, very well with trading. Sometimes when I see those numbers into the 6 and 7 figures, and you in the meantime you're living in Spain, if I'm correct, living your best life and serving, leading a community, and making a big change in this world. So again, thank you for being here and making the time. Stay on for like 3 more minutes. I just want to share 3 things that are very important in the upcoming days. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Yes. All right. Perfect. So, as we all know, we have our Super Saturday. Drop a two in the chat if you're coming, if you already have bought your ticket for our Saturday. Like Dan said, events are the most important things. For me personally, I made the decision at an event. That was the moment where I said, okay, I'm going to take this business serious. I'm going to go all in. It's not going to happen only by watching a Zinrai live session. It's not only going to happen by just being on this call. Most of the times, your breakthrough moment is going to come at an event, right? An event stands for elevated vision, eliminate negative thoughts. Okay, so make sure to buy your ticket. Tickets are going pretty fast, so make sure to secure your tickets. It's only, I think, 15 or 16 euros at the moment. We have an incredible lineup. We have a lot of crypto education. We have education about the Zinra IDs. We have education about building a business. So there's going to be a variety of different topics. And after this event, we have our first, very, very first own female only event. Okay. So if you're a guy on this call, you are not welcome here. But after the Super Saturday, there will be also a possibility to join the ladies, and there will be like a high tea and a photo shoot and a chance to network also with the incredible ladies that we have. And I have to say, gentlemen, we need to push a little bit more because the ladies are growing super fast. I think we're going very close towards 50-50, which is amazing. And I'm very, very excited to see this. So, again, I want to thank you guys for being here on this call. Let's have a blessed week. Let's focus on the education. Let's focus on impacting lives, and we will all see each other on the next call next Wednesday and also on Super Saturday. All right. Have a blessed evening, and we see each other very soon. Ciao, ciao.